Welcome back to the channel, World Coin's master coin collectors, treasure hunters, and lovers of American history and numismatics. You're in for something incredibly special today. Grab your magnifying glasses and coin books, because we're diving into one of the most intriguing and unbelievable stories to come out of the world of US coinage, a story that centers around a simple 10-cent piece, a humble 1-dime coin minted in 1996 at the Denver Mint. But this is no ordinary dime. This specific coin, this rare and elusive 1996 D. Roosevelt dime, has stunned collectors, auctioneers, and even US Mint experts because of something truly unbelievable. Its current estimated worth has skyrocketed to an unimaginable $9 million. That's right. A coin originally minted for just 10 cents is now worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion, more than luxury yachts, and more than what most people will earn in a lifetime. But what makes it so valuable? What makes this small silver-colored coin command such a staggering price in today's coin market now? Before you start rummaging through your piggy banks and coin jars hoping you've got one sitting in your kitchen drawer, you'll want to stick with us through the end of this deep dive video, because the true story behind this coin involves a fascinating blend of US Mint history, era coin collecting, rare mint mark anomalies, mechanical malfunctions, and some of the most jaw-dropping auction events in recent history. We'll go over what sets this dime apart from the billions of others minted that year, why experts and collectors agree it's one of the most significant coin errors of the modern era, and how to potentially identify if you might have a similar treasure in your own possession. Buckle in, because we're about to take a journey through time, metallurgy, economics, and mystery. To understand the gravity of this coin's story, we first have to understand what the 1996 D dime was supposed to be. It was meant to be just another part of the United States Mint's usual coin production. In 1996, billions of coins were produced across various U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point. Among them, the Roosevelt dime had become a long-standing figure on American currency since 1946, when it was introduced to commemorate President Franklin D. Roosevelt. By the mid-1990s, the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for 50 years. The design had become familiar: Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse, the torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, and the composition being the standard copper-nickel clad, introduced in 1965 after silver coins were phased out due to rising silver prices. The 1996 D dime, minted in Denver, was not produced in small numbers. In fact, over 1.4 billion Roosevelt dimes were minted that year at the Denver facility alone. So, what makes one particular 1996 D dime stand out so dramatically? The answer lies in a stunning and almost mythical error, an amalgamation of minting mistakes so rare and so bizarre that numismatic experts have only seen them a handful of times in history, and never in quite the same way. Let's break down what we know about this $9 million coin. It all started when a collector browsing a coin show in Florida stumbled upon a dime that just didn't look quite right. At first glance, it appeared ordinary, but under magnification, the signs of something extraordinary began to emerge. The coin was struck slightly off-center, a fairly common error, but what stood out immediately was the absence of a clad layer on one side, exposing the underlying copper core. Normally, US dimes are composed of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy. However, in this particular case, one of those layers had somehow failed to bond or was entirely missing, revealing a dramatic color contrast and metallic texture that would be impossible to fake. That alone might make the coin worth a few hundred or even a couple $1,000s. But then came the next surprise: the mint mark. It didn't look like the standard D for Denver. In fact, experts were puzzled. The mint mark appeared to have a ghosted double image, and further inspection revealed something shocking: it was a D over an S. This type of error, known as an overmint mark, was once more common when mint marks were manually punched into dies. However, by 1996, mint marks were being applied to dies using computer-guided machines. A D over S mint mark was not just rare, it was considered practically impossible under the mint's procedures at that time. This anomaly sparked serious investigation, with many theorizing that an old San Francisco die was somehow reused or misapplied during the Denver minting process, perhaps by human error or during an equipment transition. The implications were enormous. Even beyond the missing clad layer and the overmint mark, there were even more unusual features. The coin also exhibited what numismatists call Die clash marks. These appear when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin planchet in between, creating ghost-like impressions of each side on the opposite die. As a result, faint elements of the reverse torch and branches could be seen mirrored behind Roosevelt's head on the obverse, and vice versa. This gives the coin a bizarre, dreamlike double image that is unmistakably the result of a catastrophic mechanical malfunction. To add to the mystery, the reeded edge of the coin, the edge that normally has perfectly uniform ridges, was partially smooth and partially doubled, indicating it had possibly shifted during the upsetting process, when the coin blank is given its final shape before striking. The combined errors on this single dime led to a coin that is believed to be completely unique, what collectors call a unicorn coin. When this extraordinary specimen was finally authenticated by leading experts at PCGS and NGC, its details sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Certified as genuine, graded as mint state with multiple errors, and described as a one-of-a-kind anomaly, it entered the spotlight at a major coin auction in 2023. Expectations were high, but no one could have predicted what happened next. With several collectors, investors, and museums vying for ownership, the bidding war escalated rapidly, and the final hammer price landed at an astounding $9 million. The buyer, whose identity remains confidential, reportedly compared the coin to owning the Mona Lisa of modern American coinage, a priceless artifact in miniature form. Since the auction, the coin has taken on a legendary status. Many have questioned whether it's truly worth that much, or whether hype and rarity simply aligned to create a perfect storm of desire and scarcity. But one thing is certain. The coin is now among the most valuable dimes ever sold, and possibly the most valuable Roosevelt dime in existence. Its provenance, photographic documentation, and certification details are now being studied and archived as a case study in Mint-era history. But that's not the end of the story. Since news of the $9 million dime broke, there's been a renewed surge in interest in 1996 D dimes. Coin enthusiasts and everyday people alike are combing through change, coin rolls, and childhood coin albums hoping to find a cousin, sibling, or even distant relative to this famous dime. Era coin experts have begun cataloging other unusual 1996 D dimes in circulation, hoping to trace any patterns or clues that might explain how such a wild collection of errors could have happened at once. There are whispers that a small batch of similarly flawed dimes might have escaped the mint, possibly due to a malfunctioning press or a miscommunication during die setting. At this point, speculation is high, and treasure hunters are out in full force. Some experts warn that counterfeiters are likely to target the story, creating fake versions of the coin to deceive buyers. That's why proper authentication and grading from reputable companies is more important than ever. But despite the risks, the thrill of the hunt is back, and collectors are more excited than ever. Let's talk for a moment about the mechanics of how such an error could have even occurred in the first place. The Denver Mint is one of the most advanced coin production facilities in the world, capable of producing millions of coins per day. For a dime to go through the system with so many simultaneous errors, missing clad layer, D over S mint mark, die clash, off-center strike, edge deformation, there had to have been a rare sequence of machine failures, or possibly intentional human error. Some have speculated that a rogue mint worker may have played a role, either as a prank or with the intent of creating a collectible. However, there's no evidence of wrongdoing, and such theories remain purely speculative. Historically, there have been precedents for valuable dime errors. The 1982 Nopi Roosevelt dime, for example, is a famous error where the mint mark was omitted due to a die that wasn't properly marked. Some of these sell for thousands of dollars, especially in high grades. The 1975 No-S-proof Roosevelt dime is another example. Only two are known to exist, and they've sold for over $300,000. But even those pale in comparison to the $9 million 1996 D. For collectors, this story is more than just about money. It's about the wonder of discovery, the value of paying attention to detail, and the magic that still exists in our everyday lives. Imagine finding a coin that could change your entire financial future, just sitting unnoticed in a drawer, or tossed aside in a handful of change. That's the dream that keeps collectors searching, hunting, hoping. So what can you do if you want to search for a potentially valuable 1996 D dime? First, study the characteristics of the known specimen. Look for any signs of mint errors, missing layers, off-center strikes, odd mint marks. Today, we're diving into a story that will blow your mind, a journey through history, mystery, and the extraordinary tale of a seemingly ordinary coin that turned out to be worth a fortune. We're talking about the 1998 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, but which, due to rare errors and anomalies, has been valued at an astonishing $7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $7 million for one dime. Now, before you go rummaging through your spare change jar or coin collections, let's talk about why and how such a small piece of metal could be worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of high-end cars, or even a private island. The story of the 1998 P dime is not just about money, it's about history, human error, minting mysteries, and the incredibly rare chance that something so common could become something so priceless. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to start with some background. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, introduced shortly after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. It replaced the Mercury dime, and it has remained in production with only minor changes to its design. The obverse features the left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, while the reverse features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The P mint mark on the 1998 dime indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia, one of the primary U.S. mint locations responsible for coin production. In 1998, millions of dimes were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and under normal circumstances, each one would be worth exactly its face value, 10 cents. But what makes the coin we're discussing today so extraordinary is that one particular specimen had a series of minting errors so rare and so unexpected that they defy logic and statistics. Let's dive into what exactly happened with this rare dime, starting with the known and speculated minting errors. First, there is the possibility of a double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck twice with misaligned dies, creating a doubling effect on the features of the coin. In the case of the 1998 P dime, collectors have reported seeing strong doubling on Roosevelt's profile, especially in the areas around the nose, lips, and chin, as well as on the inscriptions such as "Liberty in God We Trust" and the date 1998. The doubling effect isn't just a minor visual quirk, it's a telltale sign of a rare minting process anomaly. When verified, a double die error can significantly increase a coin's value. Now, normally, double die coins attract values in the hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and demand. But in this case, the doubling is so prominent, so clean, and so sharply defined that experts believe it might be among the most dramatic examples ever recorded on a Roosevelt dime. But that's not all. This rare 1998 P dime is also said to have been struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that is struck to become a coin. In U.S. coin minting, there are specific sizes, weights, and compositions for each denomination. Sometimes, due to human error or mechanical malfunction, a planchet intended for a different coin might accidentally be used. In this instance, there's strong belief among numismatists that the rare 1998 dime was struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin or for another denomination entirely. This results in incorrect size, weight, and sometimes even color. Striking a dime on a foreign planchet adds layers of rarity to the coin, especially if it escaped detection during quality control at the U.S. Mint. Coin experts who have examined similar error coins in the past have noted that foreign planchet errors often create mismatches in diameter and thickness, and in some cases, coins may not even be the right color due to a difference in metal composition. If a 1998 P dime was struck on a planchet meant for another country's coin or for a US 5-cent piece, for example, this anomaly would make it an instant standout. Another fascinating theory regarding the $7 million 1998 P dime is the presence of a mule error. A mule error happens when two dies that were not intended to be paired together are accidentally used in the coin striking process. For example, imagine the obverse die of a dime being paired with the reverse die of a penny. While this may sound impossible, it has happened before. One of the most famous mule error coins is the 2000 P Sacagawea dollar struck with the state quarter reverse. If a mule error occurred with the 1998 P dime, pairing the Roosevelt obverse with the reverse of another denomination, it would explain the astronomical value. Mule coins are extremely rare and are often discovered by accident by collectors who notice discrepancies in their change. The combination of a mule error with other issues such as a double die and wrong planchet would make for a 1 in a billion coin, hence the $7 million valuation. Let's not forget the role of die cracks, cuds, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies, all of which can contribute to a coin's value. A die crack is a raised, irregular line on the surface of a coin caused by a cracked die. A cut is a blob of metal on the coin's surface due to a piece of the die breaking off. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet is not properly centered during the striking process, resulting in a coin that is partially blank or missing part of the design. A misaligned die causes one side of the coin to appear off-kilter compared to the other. The 1998 P dime in question reportedly has a severe off-center strike, with up to 40% of the design missing on one side and shifted dramatically. This kind of error, combined with other anomalies, makes the coin even more unique. It's the accumulation of multiple rare features that gives this dime its legendary status. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. Numismatists use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to determine a coin's condition, with 70 being a perfect specimen. The 1998 P dime we're discussing is believed to be in near-perfect condition, possibly graded MS 68 or higher. That alone would elevate its worth significantly, but when combined with the previously mentioned errors, it becomes a truly priceless artifact. Now let's explore the speculative history behind how such a coin could have come into existence. Some believe that the coin was deliberately created by a mint employee, a practice known as intentional mint errors or midnight strikes. These are coins produced unofficially during off hours using unauthorized die combinations or planchets. While illegal, such practices have been known to occur, and coins that emerge from such circumstances often fetch eye-watering sums at auction. Others believe it was a result of a perfect storm of unintentional mishaps: a fatigued die, a misfed planchet, a malfunctioning press, and a lapse in quality control. Whatever the cause, the result is the same: an astonishingly rare piece that has taken the numismatic world by storm. Let's talk about the market for a coin like this. Coin collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for pieces that defy expectations. When this 1998 P dime first came to light, it was reportedly discovered in an old collection passed down through generations. The owner initially believed it to be an odd-looking coin with little value, but upon closer inspection by experts and grading authorities, it became clear that this was no ordinary dime. The coin eventually made its way to a high-profile auction, where bidding wars erupted among elite collectors, museums, and private investors. It shattered all previous records for Roosevelt dimes, with the final bid reportedly exceeding $7 million. The sale made headlines across the numismatic community and beyond, drawing attention from the general public who were shocked that a 10-cent piece could command such a fortune. Since then, the legend of the 1998 P dime has only grown. It has been featured in coin expos, television documentaries, and articles in numismatic journals. Experts have debated the exact number of similar era coins that may exist, but most agree that this is a one-of-a-kind specimen. No other dime from 1998 has been authenticated with the same combination of errors, making it truly unique. So, what should you do if you think you have a rare coin like this? First, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can reduce its value dramatically. Second, get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can verify its authenticity, grade its condition, and provide certification. Even if your coin isn't worth millions, it might still be a valuable find. And finally, don't underestimate the coins in your pocket. There are millions of coins in circulation, and rare errors are waiting to be discovered every day. The story of the 1998 P dime is proof that treasures can be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right person to recognize their true value. As we wrap up this incredible story, let this be a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and the occasional mistake can converge to create something truly extraordinary. The 1998 P dime wasn't born into greatness. It earned it through a series of improbable events that transformed it from pocket change into a $7 million masterpiece. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just starting out, keep your eyes open. The next legendary coin could be hiding in your change right now. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the amazing world of rare coins. Be sure to subscribe for more stories about the treasures of the US Mint, and share this video with fellow collectors and curious minds. Who knows, you might inspire someone to take a closer look at the coins in their hand and discover something truly priceless.